Hello, and in the video Why They Do It Inside the Mind of the White Collar Criminal by Eugene Soltes, I really thought it was really good information to where some of it I was kind of like not sure of it, but other ones it really hit like good with me. And so to start out, I liked how Eugene Soltes said that he talked to white collar criminals with writing his book. He talked to a lot of them, and every single one of them had different backgrounds and different stories. He talked with victims from the white collar crimes and how that affected them within their life as well. He also stated that when the criminals do their crime, they don't really think before they do it. They just think it's gonna be like this one time thing and then it's never gonna happen again. But ultimately, it does happen again, and then it never stops eventually. He made a really good point within the video with saying that once the criminals do their crime within whichever setting, it could be just like robbing a place or hijacking somebody's car or making them ultimately just go to prison. But he said that he was surprised because most of them didn't have remorse or they didn't regret doing the decisions that they made. I personally didn't like that they didn't have much remorse because they're missing out on the opportunities with their kids, their spouses, their families, and personally, I wouldn't want to miss out on the opportunities that I would have within my society and where I would live. But there's also a point where there are criminals who do feel the remorse and they want to get out because they didn't like the actions that they made, and it makes them think, why did I do this in the first place when if I would have thought before, it would have never happened? And that's why he was surprised because he thought that most of them would feel remorse, but in the end, they really didn't because it just happened. But mostly, once they stay in a place like jail or prison, they're gonna figure it out. Like, they want to be out of there and they want to try to do what's best for them and try to get out so that they can go to their families or like friends, or they want to go back to the job as well. There's also a part where there was a sentence where he said like you shouldn't not hire somebody once they get out. They should all have an equal chance within the workforce and make a difference. They can come out from some place and then be a whole different person because of the time that they spent. And that's where they also feel remorse, where they didn't get to figure out what they wanted to do in life. And with doing the crime that they did, it made them short and not be able to figure out like what job they wanted to do, or even if they didn't have a family or children, and most of them wanted to figure that out. But that's why I personally didn't like how some of them didn't have remorse, not most of them, but I feel like in the end they do feel the remorse for themselves and they want to change for the better and to try and ultimately like better their lives and get a job and make things right for themselves. In the video, there was also a note for inside trading. Inside trading can be legal or illegal, and inside trading is basically where you go someplace and try to get an answer to help with the problem that you did. So, an example would be like if you're a lawyer and you're trying to get answers, but you go to an outside source and you pay them or you blackmail or one of those things, that's inside trading. And like blackmailing and that type of stuff, that would be like illegal inside trading because you're doing something for somebody to give you answers, but you could be harming that person. Uh, a example of like inside trading, another one is if you get money for like if you pay somebody for inside trading for an answer to help with your case or to help better your understanding of why you did something, that would be an example of legal inside trading, because but it could be illegal because you're paying the one person to give you answers when you probably shouldn't be talking to that one person. I personally agree with most of the things said in the video, along with the remorse and inside trading. It can go from anywhere from just like robbing a bank, like I said before, or it could be harming a family, of that sort of stuff. There's different categories with white collar criminals, but they all have several different backgrounds and history. And within society, some people might look at white collar criminals as, oh, I'm going to be doing this. Like, if I do this, his example was to the audience, if you did something on the SEC website, you're not going to think that you're in with the white collar criminals. Like, you're not going to be notified 5 years later for something that you might have said or did on the SEC website. And that is a true fact from him, because not everything is going to come back to you or ruin your life in the ways that some criminals did have, like robbing a bank, or it could have been just like violating a law because it was illegal. And there are some ways to come back from it, but ultimately they either had to pay the time in a jail or prison, but they wanted to get better and make their lives better. So, in conclusion, I liked the video because it did say, like, the title is Why They Do It Inside the Mind of a White Collar Criminal. And some of them just did it just because they thought they had to, or because they thought it was going to be fun, or because they saw other people doing it. And all the people in his book have like almost the same like similarities, but there are also differences within each one of them. And with they should have had remorse with what they did, because they harmed themselves more than harming others, but they should have remorse if they did harm others as well, but they now don't get to be with their families or celebrate those holidays with them as well. But I agree with mostly everything that Eugene Soltes said in the interview, because they should ultimately have remorse on what they did. And inside trading can be bad within a society if it's legal or illegal, because you shouldn't be going to another source just to try to get the answer out of somebody when you could be going and doing it legally and actually doing the right way. So, yeah, thank you.